No cell phones, no magazines. A man and a woman are in the same room. As long as they stay for 50 days, they'll get $5 million. Would you like to try such a good thing? David and Mary are lovers. They signed up for the experiment at the first time. The environment of this enclosed room is very good. White walls and soft beds. In addition to no net. It is a paradise for otaku men and otaku women. Then they want to visit the toilet. There is a voice broadcast on the wall. Tell them that only one person can enter the toilet at a time. If two people go in, they won't get any money. Hearing this, they could only focus on the food. David just pressed the pickup button. A small box protruded from the wall. This bottle should contain his supper. David tasted it and said, "It's hard to drink." He also described this thing as cold water and oats. There's no smell at all. Mary didn't plan to have dinner after she heard that. They all look forward to having a good breakfast tomorrow. It's getting late. Mary set the alarm clock directly. They just wanted to do something shameful. But they hesitated. They don't know if there's a surveillance camera. But they thought of staying here for another 50 days. So they lived happily all night. The second day, Mary gets up early. She went to the toilet to cheer herself up. As long as she can last 49 days, she will have $5 million. After washing, she came to the dining area. See the familiar box. Mary knew she could not escape. They will have to eat this kind of food in the future. David also joked at this time. He said he had guessed what to eat at noon. In this way, the two began to live together. David always loses patience quickly. After a few days, David began to feel bored. But Mary is full of energy every day. She always encourages herself in front of the mirror. $5 million in 50 days is enough to fill her with hope. To help David relieve his stress, Mary pulled him into a game. She also worked out with David to relax. But this day, David accidentally found a cockroach on the ground. How many difficulties did this cockroach overcome to come here? David greeted the cockroach warmly. He also brought his own food to it. At this time, the broadcast reminds David of his behavior. It is illegal to provide food to this cockroach. All bonuses will be deducted if the rules are violated. Good David doesn't want this cockroach to starve to death. He plans to open the door and let the cockroach out. Mary stopped David at once. Just open the door and the bonus will fall to $1 million. She didn't want to lose $4 million because of this cockroach. But David insisted on opening the door. Mary walked away angrily and accidentally trampled the cockroach to death. Now they don't have to fight. In this way, the boring days passed for 20 days. David can't stand loneliness at last. They had a rule before they came in. Everyone has the chance to get 2 random items. The price is to deduct money from their bonuses. Deduct $200,000 from them at a time. So David used this privilege. He got the most expensive crayon in the world. But it's very useful for David. He can freely express his talent on the wall. But Mary was not satisfied with the loss of $200,000. She simply cleaned the washing table and went to bed angrily. The second day, Mary yelled when she saw the washstand. A pistol suddenly appeared here. They don't know what the guns are for. They discussed and threw the gun under the bed. But even so, their hearts are not calm enough. Sure enough, something strange happened. The projector in the room suddenly started up. David's ex-girlfriend came out first. She expressed warm greetings to David. Obviously, the purpose is to make Mary jealous. When it's Mary's turn, an old man appeared on the screen. Mary hid her head in the corner and began to cry. It turned out that this was her father. He is also a bad gambler. He gambled against the house and Mary's tuition. Because of this, Mary cut off contact with him. She didn't expect to meet again in this way. Her father's health won't last long. The person in charge's plan was very successful and affected their mood. After this incident, Mary's whole person has changed. Every day she just lies in bed staring. David could only keep calming Mary, but he didn't think of any better way. He can only use his second chance. This opportunity is still very pleasant, because this time, what came out of it was not something, but a beautiful woman. David was surprised to see the beautiful woman, but Mary's face turned black. David was surprised to see the beautiful woman, but Mary's face turned black. In this way, the woman squeezed into their lives. David must be happy with a beautiful girl, but Mary was getting more and more depressed. This time Mary is going to use her chance. She got a bottle of pills. All three took the pills. I think there must be something wrong with this pill. Sure enough, after taking the pill, David began to change. He talked with this woman late at night. Even worse, he was caught by Mary. After a big fight, the happy trio disappeared. This woman disappeared from their lives. Before she left some words on the wall. Because of this line of words, they began to argue again. Mary pushed David directly to the ground. David's head is broken and he wants to be treated. Mary only wanted $5 million and insisted that David not leave. Because David quit, she could only get $1 million. She even took out her gun and threatened David. Mary saw David walking straight ahead. She shot straight into the air, but David still left alone. Mary collapsed on the floor and cried loudly. I don't know whether she is crying for her lost love or the $4 million. There are still 2 days left. Mary looked at the empty room. She walked uncontrollably towards the switch. Slowly raised her hand as if to open the door. One turn of the screen. Many years have passed. Running David suddenly meets Mary at the hospital gate. Mary said she had just taken care of her father. Asked David if he has time for a drink. David asked Mary if she had persisted to the last day. Mary said she gave up early, but the camera came to the donation board at the corner. The new St. Mary's Hospital was provided by an anonymous donor. I don't know if the donor of this hospital is Mary. If so, that would be terrible. Today's encounter may have been designed by Mary. The story of David and Mary is over, but the story of the enclosed room continues. Another couple came here, thinking of staying here for 50 days. There will be 5 million. The girl was excited.